NBA basketball totals for Sunday, December 18th. We got 3 games on the card today. Don't forget to check out our NCAA segment as well. Winning day yesterday in both the NBA and NCAA hoops, so that's good. Let's see if we can go ahead and get some momentum. Still got winning records in both categories, so we can't complain too much. We'd like to have bigger winning records, though. Of course, I think we'll get there before the season's finish. Right now, this is our total segment, of course. And we're going to be looking at the a number set by the odds makers for the final score of the game, and we're going to see if we can beat that number either over or under the total. Interesting day of hoops for us because in the NBA we're going 3 unders and the NCAA we're going 3 overs. Okay, so bear with me on these. So we looked at these for quite a while, and I think we have some solid plays here. Let's go ahead, let's dive into some plays. Don't forget to check out SBR for all the odds, numbers, sportsbook sign-up bonuses, all that good stuff at our website, Sportsbook Review. All right, here we go. First game up we're going to look at is Utah and Memphis. And Oddsmaker said this total really, really low for good reason. 185.5, and I'm going under. And what really amazes me about this number, before I even talk about any statistics, is the fact that Utah has actually put up some points, a lot more than what we're used to out of this Utah team. You think Quinn Snyder and the Utah Jazz are going to go at a really slow tempo. They still do that, but man, they have been scoring. At this total right now, 185.5. They have gone under this total. They have not, let me rephrase that. They have not gone under this total since October, since they played the Clippers October 30th. Every single game they've played since that time has been over this total of 185.5. That's pretty strange. I'm going to go ahead and go under because I think oddsmakers have this right because the game is at Memphis. And Memphis, although Utah has not gone under this total, Memphis had. They've gone over it 2 out of their last 5 games. In their last matchup against Sacramento, they lost 96-92. That puts them at 188. So 185.5 against a Utah team when they're on the road, they're not quite as efficient when they're on the road. Depending on the matchup, it just depends on what type of a team they're playing. And I think in this matchup here with Memphis, it's going to be a grind. So I'm going to go ahead, and I know I took the under the total with Dallas and Utah, and that did not work out. I think this one is with Memphis. Let's go ahead and start breaking this down a little bit more. We got Utah averaging 100.9 points per game, Memphis averaging 97.2. Not really great on the offensive end. Utah's been okay in spurts, for sure. That's a pretty tough Jazz team. Don't sleep on Utah. Right now, they have won 6 out of their last 7 games. But defensively, this is where we're at. We got Memphis allowing 97.2 points per game. That ranks 3rd in the NBA. Then we got Utah. They're allowing 95.4. That ranks 1st in the NBA. We look at their tempo. They both go really slow. I'm not going to talk about that so much. Just they're 2 of the slower tempo teams in the NBA. And Memphis cannot shoot the ball. They're shooting 41.9% from the field. That ranks last. They're banged up a little bit still. Utah's one of the best teams defensively across the board. Memphis is right there with them. They're not bad. They rank 1st in the league defensively in overall opponent shooting percentage. So 185.5. I think oddsmakers have this right. I think this game will be lucky to get to 180. Next one up. Again, we're doing another under. We got Brooklyn and Philadelphia. Oddsmakers have this at 216. Yeah. I always want to double check my numbers before I start talking. It's 216 and I'm going under. I mean, for 216, I think, and this year's been weird. There's been a lot of teams that are scoring at a really high clip, and Brooklyn's been one of them, and they've been allowing a ton of points. But Philadelphia they're still not that great of an offensive team, and I think both these teams are going to have to score tonight. Philadelphia can play a little bit of defense. Brooklyn cannot. So I don't think they're going to get to that 216. I think that's just a bit too much. This is going to be more like that Lakers game, I think, where they play an up-tempo team, but now their team's super efficient offensively. I mean, let's look at Brooklyn right now. I mean, we could talk about their scoring. We got Brooklyn averaging 106.7 points per game. That's not bad. They're ranking 7th in the league, and Philadelphia is averaging 97.9. That's not good, ranking 26. I can see why oddsmakers have it at 216, though, because you got Brooklyn allowing 114.6 points per game and Philadelphia allowing 105.7. But let's look at these numbers here. Offensively, these shooting percentages here, we got Brooklyn. Now, the tempo is really fast. That's why this number is so high. But Brooklyn, they shoot 43.8% from the field overall. That ranks 22nd in the NBA. Then we got Philadelphia. They're shooting 43.3%. That ranks 26. Defensively, not bad, Philadelphia. Brooklyn, they're terrible. They're one of the worst across the board. I'm not going to dig into that. But Philadelphia, right now, they're ranked right in the middle of the league. They're allowing opponents to shoot 45.2% from the field. They rank 16th in opponent effective field goal percentage and opponent shooting efficiency. So not horrible. And they're at home. So they should be able to control things just a little bit. When we talk about the tempo, Brooklyn does go super fast, like I mentioned, but Philadelphia hasn't been like off the charts as far as their tempo. They're averaging 84.4 attempts per game. They're 23rd in the NBA. They do allow quite a bit, though. So does Brooklyn. So the tempo is probably going to be there. I don't think the percentages match up, though. So I don't think they're going to get to 216. And I'm going to take under that total in the game of two pretty poor teams. Yeah, Philadelphia is actually, they got a few wins here and there. But Brooklyn, yeah, they're pretty bad. Okay, under the 216, Philadelphia and Brooklyn. Last one up. This one was a little bit hard for me. Casey for Toronto has been really interesting. He's totally changed the dynamics this year. I mean, he goes small and they're going fast and efficient. Well, I don't want to, saying they're going fast, that's probably the wrong adjective to use. Efficient is better. They've been really efficient. They are scoring the ball at a really good clip. Oddsmakers have this game with Orlando and Toronto. Currently, it's at 218, and I'm going under it. I think that's just too many points. I don't care that Toronto is that good of a scoring team. Orlando could score as well. However, I don't think this is going to be a very fast game, and because of that, I don't think they're going to shoot well enough on a Sunday. They'd probably rather be watching football, maybe. I don't think they're going to get to 218. Let's look at some numbers here. We got Toronto averaging 112.3 points per game. They're third in the NBA. Amazing. Totally, it's amazing how Toronto has gone from a defensive grind you out team to just like a Golden State Warriors type of get up and down the floor, find the open shot and shoot it and knock it down. What a great job by Casey. I love it when coaches can adjust like that. It reminds me of what Vogel did last year with Indiana. You know, when they had West and Hibbert, they were the 2 years back, they were really kind of defensively just grind you out, slow your tempo down. And then the next year, West went to the Spurs and Hibbert went away. They had to completely change their dynamics, and they just opened it up and started to get up and down the floor. And I love when coaches are able to do that with their teams. That's the sign of a great coach. I really like Frank Vogel. Anyways, I digress. So Casey doing that with Toronto, I think is fantastic. All right, we got defensively, Orlando's allowing 101.6 points per game. Toronto's allowing 103.9. Not great by any stretch of the imagination. About middle of the league. Efficiency-wise, Toronto's great. They're one of the top 5 teams in the league across the board. Okay, Orlando is not. They rank in the bottom part of the league. Right now, they're shooting 43.1% of the field. That ranks third to last in the league. They're also 28th in shooting efficiency, and they're 28th on their 2-point shots, and they're shooting under 34% from beyond the arc. Toronto still, although they're allowing tempo, or they're getting up, or they're scoring and they're allowing more tempo. I don't want to say they're allowing tempo because they're not getting up and down like the Warriors, but they're allowing more than they did last year. The point is they're still pretty decent defensively. Not as good as last year, but they're just outscoring teams. Orlando defensively, not bad. Vogel's finally starting to get this team to play a little bit. They've won 2 out of the last 3 games, but they're right in the middle of the league defensively. Opponents are shooting 35% from distance. That ranks 15th in the league. Opponents are 15th in their effective field goal percentage versus the Magic. Things of that nature. Then we talk about, something I really like is the transition game, and that neither Orlando nor Toronto really allows a lot of fast break points. Right now, Toronto ranks second defensively in that category, opponent fast break points per game. I'll get it. And Orlando ranks 10th in that category. I don't think it's going to be that very fast-paced. Attempts are not that big, or not a lot. You got Toronto still averaging under 85 attempts per game, and you got Orlando averaging 85 attempts per game. So I don't think they're going to get there. I could see why it's set so high, because Orlando can put up some points at time. They just scored 118 versus Brooklyn, and then they put up that 131 at Atlanta. That was ridiculous. And they also scored 108 in the loss to the Clippers. So I can see why oddsmakers have it there. I just don't think they're going to get that. That's just too big, I think, 218. All right, quick recap. Here we go. We got Utah and Memphis under the 185.5. And if you just heard a little bit of an extra sound there, that was my son playing in the other room. I don't know if that's going to get through or not, but just to let you know, everybody's okay here. My son's messing around. Utah, Memphis under the 185.5. We got Brooklyn, Philadelphia under the 216. Toronto, Orlando under the 218. Those are our 3 NBA picks today on the totals, and I wish you luck on your picks today.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.